I'm very happy with that. I mean, some of you guys who actually know what you're doing watching this, we're going to be laughing, but you gotta think this is like one of the first times I'm actually doing this. So. Honestly, it looks pretty good. You have to think about it. You have the plastic sill and it goes up to here, so you're never going to see this. Welcome back to Living with Classic. You can probably tell I'm still working on the sills on the X-type because I decided that there's no point changing out this overall until I'm done crawling on the ground under this car. Finished welding one side actually. I'm going to show that to you guys now. And before I weld the other side, because I want to flip the car around when I do that, I thought we completely finish this side. So I've marked where the holes are for the sill that, you know, we're missing. I copied them from the other side because it looks a bit better on that side. And I had a look at the sills and they seem to be the same, you know, the plastic covers. So we're going to drill those. We're going to drill some drains as well. Rust proof. We're going to do a little bit of body work, a little bit of filler in a couple places, and then more rust proofing. And then I'm waiting on the paint to paint that side, and then we can start working on the other side as well. But let me show you what it looks like right now. Lighting is a little bit difficult for me when it's slowed down in this part of the workshop. I can do something about that in the future. I have this big light set up when I'm working, however it flickers on camera, so that doesn't work. But I think you guys are going to be able to see what I've been up to. So this is all done. Remember, this was all gone. The only part I've kept is right here. So how I did it was because this is one of the most important mounting points, because, well, how the sill looks at the end is really important in my opinion. So I kept all of this, and then I made the piece, let me show you guys. I made this piece underneath here that goes up on that. Make sure this was good, then I cut out the rot, and then I made the rest of it. So pretty happy with it. Like I said, this doesn't have to be that beautiful. It's covered by a plastic sill. However, a tiny bit of this is going to be seen. So where that gray mark is sort of where it's going to be seen. So I want to put a little bit of filler on here just to make that look a little bit nicer. And I have ordered paint. So we're going to paint from here and up with body color paint. And then everything is going to be covered in rust proofing before that, and stone chip and all of that. I've marked the holes that need to be drilled. So one hole there, two holes over there. Completely copy the other side, so they should be in the right location. I'm going to measure the size of the hole, get a drill bit, drill those out. I'm also going to drill drains down there like we talked about, and I need to the pinch weld over here. I need to cut that into shape. It's still a little bit too long, so those are little jobs we're going to get to now. And after that, I'm going to go mix some filler, and we'll make all this look a little bit better. We'll have that dry overnight, and then tomorrow we can sand that down. I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself, but sometimes it's nice just to crank up the tunes and work a little bit. So that's what I did. You saw I drilled the holes. I've cut the bottom of the sill to the correct level with the pinch weld, and that's been primed again. I've also primed around all the holes, and I'll put filler up here because this part, I mean, it's not really probably going to be seen. I want it still to look nice and smooth. And I've put a little bit on some of the other welds as well. I am a beginner welder, so it's not perfect. So, you know, if I can get a little bit of this metal filler in there, just to make it completely tight, that is good. And we have a look under here. I also made some drains over there. And the rest of the sill up there, I ground back to bare metal anywhere there was rust, and that is primed as well. So everything is ready to dry overnight. I know it says about 20 minutes or so for filler, but that is in ideal conditions at about 20 degrees Celsius. I can't heat my workshop to any more than about 14 at the moment. It's very windy and stormy. So this will have to sit overnight, sand it all back, and then we are ready for rust proofing all of this. And then once the paint arrives, we can paint it to up here about. But before that, we're going to trowel fit the sill, but that will wait till tomorrow. After a bit of sanding, pretty happy with the results. It's really only the edge here that I'm worried about. This is just a little bit overkill. It's never going to be seen. So I have a little bit of primer here that I'm just going to prime this with. That's also an easy way to see what the edge looks like. I mean, I can't really feel it with my fingernails. So add some primer, let this dry, have a look at it. May need to sand it again and, you know, continue until it's nice and smooth. But I think it's pretty good right now. Once that is all dry and done, we can test fit the sill. And look at that, the outer sill cover is on. So here's a trial fit. All the old clips actually survived me removing it. So I thought, you know what, let me see if it clicks into place. And if you remember all the holes back here, I just had to guess a little bit. I could see them on the other side because it hadn't rusted away. They're here, they were completely gone. So I made a copy of that, a template, and I flipped it around. And I guessed that this side was the same, but mirror image, and it was. So it fits perfectly. I mean, it needs to go in here, but that's from the bottom mount. But everything is perfect, and when it goes down like that, it's supposed to have the bottom mount. It has a perfect shut line here with the doors and everything. Looks really good. And we can see in here, just a little bit on the dark side. Let me get a flashlight. There we go. So we can see how much it's covered. It doesn't go all the way in, but you see these clips are not perfect. I think the new ones will go to there about, and also when you screw the bottom into place, we can see looking pretty good. I am going to sand all of this once more a little bit and then add a different primer. I'm going to pick up a primer when I get the paint, the primer that they want me to use with that paint, and then we can do this. However, on the other side, it isn't as rusty, so we don't have to go this far up. I can put the weld down here instead so no one's going to see it. So it's only really this side that needs paint, but really happy with it so far. I'm going to go underneath, and there are mounting points that go under here, and they're all gone. So I'm going to mark those, drill those, then I'm let this paint dry a little bit more. We're going to apply the rust proofing, and then tomorrow can turn the car around hopefully and weld the other side. It's the next morning. I did a little bit of work last night. I finished basically everything on the outside of the sill here. After we found out that it fit really nicely, I took the sill off again, and then I sanded everything down, put a little bit more primer on for sanding a couple places. So this is pretty much ready for a top coat. Then I do a masking tape line about halfway up, and then I did some undercoating all the way around. This is the same stuff I used on the XJ6. Works really, really well. It's never ever gets completely hard, and that's yeah, it just doesn't crack or anything like that, and it seems to work really, really well. Now I'm getting ready to put the wheels back on. I'm going to set this thing down on the ground, turn it around, and then weld the other side. I am still going to rust proof everything on the inside, but I'm going to wait till the other side is done, just because it's one of those long plastic wands and they're not fun to clean. So might as well rust proof both sides and everything while I have that out. Oh, next thing, turn the car around and do the other side. Swept up the floors and ready to back it in so I can weld the other side. I actually went for a sneaky brief little test drive without you guys, because for once the sun is out for a little bit, and you know what, it drives really nicely. It's the first time I've ever driven it, and I got the clutch bled. Really nice clutch, is excellent. Goes for the gears. I've been up at least to the 4th gear, up to about 50 kilometers an hour. AC even works. Starting to see the temperature come up, so that seems to be working as well. The only thing is brake lights seem to be a little bit stuck on, so we're going to have a look at that. But back it in now, and then some more welding. It's the next day. I was really busy yesterday and I didn't film anything just because I had to get this done. It was the first day in a long time where it wasn't raining and I had half the car outside to be able to weld that side. Went really well. I managed to cut out all the rust, weld a new metal, bend it, and make everything in one day. Really proud of that. I turned it around, and then late last night I turned the heat on in here to pretty high, and let me show you. I did some filler work yesterday. I let that cure, sanded it down, did a little bit more up on the edge now this morning, and now it's sitting here in primer. So once that is dry, I can, drill out the holes, do all of that, trowel fit the sill like we did on the other side, do the rust proofing and everything like that. And then the sills are pretty much done on this car. And that is it for welding this X-type. It's been a really fun project. It's not completely done yet. I still need to do a little bit of painting in a couple of areas that are going to be seen, but I should get the paint later today. So maybe even tonight I'll start painting, but you'll see that in the next video. I also need to rust proof the inside of both sills, but like I said, I'll do that when both sides are painted. So that will be the last thing I do. But this has been really fun. It's been fun showing you guys as well that well, it's kind of difficult to film when you're trying to learn something, but I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing that. And I think I've decided I want to do some more welding. Do you guys want to see more welding on the channel? Maybe some of the cars which I plan to, send away to get done, maybe I should tackle some of it myself, because this seems really fun. So we have, we have the 60s S-type that needs a bit of welding. I daily drive 1975 car. I'm gonna need welding at some point. So do you guys want to see me tackle some projects myself here on the channel? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.